guys, my name's Jenna, and I just wanted to welcome you back to another edition of our OA Summer Panels. Just a quick reminder of what an OA is. An OA is an orientation advisor, which is essentially like a peer leader to help freshman students adjust to their new lives at UT Austin. We're here to chat about new general fears or worries that a new incoming student might have whenever they come into their first year at UT. And we'll share a little bit about our stories, but also some advice of what we think might help you best during your transition. So we have a few questions that we'll answer, but you guys can always feel free to drop questions in the comments and then we'll try our best to get back to you. Now we're just going to start with a few introductions. Again, my name's Jenna. I'm an unspecified business major in Macomb School of Business. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm from Houston, Texas, and I'm a rising sophomore, and I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to Marcos.
Hey, what's up, everyone? My name is Marcos Flores. I'm a business major planning to do finance, and my pronouns are he, him, his. I'm from Fort Worth, Texas. We're the FW and DFW, and I'm a rising sophomore right now. And I'll pass it on to the next person.
Hey y'all, I'm Amber. I'm a third-year radio, television, and film major from Corpus Christi, Texas. My pronouns are she, her, hers. And I'm Pisces, if that means anything to you. And I'll pass it to Kat.
Hi everyone, my name is Kat. I am a speech language and hearing sciences major. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I am from Brownsville, Texas. I am a rising third year, and I will pass it to Leland.
Thanks, Kat. Hi everyone, great to see y'all. My name is Leland Murphy. My pronouns are he, him, his. I'm a rising third year government major, and I'm originally from Kennedale, Texas, which is a small town in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex.
Okay, awesome. So that's all of our OAs that are going to be participating in this panel today. Again, so we just have a few set of questions that we're just going to be kind of sharing our responses to in regards to general fears and worries that new students might have coming into the university. So our first question, which will be answered by myself and Kat, how do you adjust to living in the middle of a large city? So personally, I've lived in both the city and the suburbs, and I agree that it can be a huge transitioning coming from, one or the other. My best advice is finding people that you're comfortable with, that you love being around, new friends, whether they're people you went to high school with or people that you're meeting at the college. Get comfortable with some people and start exploring. With your UTID, you can ride the Austin Metro for totally free. One of my biggest resources my freshman year was using Yelp a lot. Absolute favorite thing for finding places. I know that's so whatever, but it's awesome. I found so many coffee shops doing it. But Austin is named one of the best college towns in the nation for a reason. So it's best to just get out of your comfort zone and start getting to know the area around you. And it's your best bet for gaining comfort in the middle of a large city.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Jenna. Putting yourself out there, looking at Yelp, finding those coffee shops, definitely the best advice. I can also attest to that moving out of a small town and then going to the capital of the state is definitely a change. I went from a city where I knew, like, my last name was known pretty much to people, to a city where no one knew me. And the way that I kind of saw it at first was, okay, one of my former orientation advisors told me that UT was a little city within a bigger city, because we have our campus, and then right around campus you have a variety of restaurants, coffee shops. There's so much land at the same time, but you have a great view of downtown. So starting small and then going out and exploring the city is definitely how I have been able to transition from that big move.
Awesome. I totally agree with you, Kat. Now, our second question is going to be, what's the main difference between high school and college coursework? And our OAs, Marcos and Leland, are going to answer this question.
I can go ahead and get this one started. So what's the main difference between high school and college coursework? Just from my experience as a business major, I just think the coursework in college is more geared towards like your interests and passions. Back in high school, you took a lot of classes that like were very, it was like a wide array of classes. For example, you had English, history, math, and whatnot. Like you had different topics, but in college, it's more geared to like my major. Right now, I'm a finance major. I haven't taken specific classes, but I've taken business calculus. I've taken intro to data science, and those classes that interest me because it's teaching me, getting me ready to like enter the work field, like specifically with finance. So that's one of the main differences. And I'd also like to talk about registering. So when you're in college, like it's different from high school. Like when you're going to register, You don't have a counselor telling you that you need to be here, sign up for these classes. And you're literally on your own. And I'm not here to scare y'all, but it really is like a sign of freedom and just like kind of like growing up in a way, as in like where you have to register and like work on your time and make sure you get it done. Because if you don't, no one's going to tell you anything. And now I'm going to pass it to Leland.
Thanks so much, Marcos. Definitely agree. College, it's a lot of, you have to really structure yourself. And, that takes kind of finding what works best for you and kind of, really learning like your study habits and yourself. And there's also some other like niche differences, like grading skills way different than high school was, especially because each professor kind of gets to, set whatever they want. So like what gets you an A in one class might get you like a B in another class. And there's a lot of variation because professors are given a lot of autonomy. So there's really no standard. And then college is also like your exams usually in most classes are going to count a lot more and, less than like the traditional like work that you do throughout the month and throughout the semester. It's going to be more based on those kind of midterms and finals and that sort of thing.
I can agree. Midterms and finals do weigh a lot heavier than they do from high school coursework. So next we have, how do you maintain a healthy lifestyle? And both myself and Marcos will be answering this question. Personally, I try to fit some kind of like self-care into my schedule, and I feel like that helps me keep up with a more healthy lifestyle. So for me, I like to wake up early and I go on a walk every day, and I know that that sounds like a lot of work sometimes, but really once you start getting up, getting yourself active, I feel like it really puts you in a better state of mind every single day. Like I noticed that on days that I go on days that I go on walks versus days that I don't, I'm usually a lot happier and a lot more energized even if I wake up to go on like a 6 a.m. walk. It is an absolutely incredible feeling. I also try to eat like I try to like eat kind of like better foods too whenever I can. I know sometimes it's like fast food's like the only way I can go if I'm having like a super busy week, but I just try to fit it in when I can. And like I said, those walks super duper helpful.
And I can totally relate to Jenna. Like when you start, what you do at the beginning of the day, I think really sets the tone for how, like what type of day you're gonna have. But just ways how I maintain a healthy lifestyle, specifically with my first year in college, was I played soccer, and that's just a passion I wanted to continue in college. I don't necessarily play for the highest level soccer team here, but I play soccer with my friends. I get out. I make sure, even with my busy schedule, I still make time to put myself out there, make sure I'm like working on my fitness because I know if I don't make time for it, like it's not going to be there because college is very time consuming. Like a lot of things are going on. So you really got to be intentional about like going out and doing stuff. And I'm not saying you have to go out every single day and like work out every single day. That's not what I'm saying at all. Of course, if that's your thing, go for it. But maybe if you're not really big on working out, maybe go out once a week and see how that does. Like just challenge yourself to do something. Start off small, and then like if you want to keep progressing it, I would recommend that. And I know a healthy style just doesn't involve physical activity, and it can also be mental health as well. So what a resource I would recommend is the CMHC, which is the Counseling and Mental Health Service here at UT Austin. And if you're curious on like how to find it, just search up CMHC UT on like your browser and it should pop up. But mental health is a serious issue, and like I really do recommend y'all to like keep up with it and to make sure like you're feeling at a mind at ease, like if you're feeling down or whatnot.
Awesome. I've also totally utilized the CMHC, and they are some great people in there, always willing to help, and it makes me feel so much more at home at UT. Next, we have how do you adjust from moving from home? And myself and Amber will both be answering these questions. So I don't know about anyone else on this panel, but going to UT, I knew absolutely no one coming to campus. And again, UT is a campus of over 50,000 undergraduate students. And so, that can be very overwhelming. I did come up from a pretty large high school. I graduated with about 500 other people, but again, no one I knew from my hometown, or I mean, I know a lot of people here are from Houston, but not a lot of people that I knew from Houston went to UT. So my thing is I put myself out there by putting myself in the official Facebook group. That's actually how I met my freshman year roommate and my best friend today. And I found people on Instagram and Twitter, and I started making connections that way. And so just by meeting those people, especially before putting like my first foot on campus, I feel like I was able to quickly adjust, especially after moving from home. It can be a very uncomfortable thing at first, but knowing that you have people to support you moving from city to city, like a lot of you guys will be doing, I feel like it just allows for a lot of a better ease in transition for sure.
Yeah, totally. It's hard to know where to start because there's so many things attached to this. I'll start with the first time I moved into my first dorm. I lived at Durham my freshman year, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be so great. I'm so ready. I'm like ready to be in college. Woo! And like literally the second my parents left, I like started bawling. I was like, no, I'm alone. What am I gonna do? But keeping in contact with your parents, if you have a good relationship with them, it really, really helps. Even though you can't see them every day, just knowing that they're always there to support you and they always are a call away, it's very helpful. Also, making your dorm more personal is really helpful as well. Like having pictures of like your high school friends and stuff like that really, really helps me. And making it feel like more like a home, less like you're visiting is really helpful. Also, making your community smaller and finding similarities in others. It's really easy to be like, oh, there's 50,000 students here. Oh my gosh, so many people I don't know. But there's so many people you have similarities with, and that's what you should focus on. Like you're not just put in like this random place with a whole bunch of strangers. Like you all have something in common. You're all UT students, and that means a lot. And especially when you're in your major classes, like being the same major as someone, I've been saying this thing recently, and it makes a lot of sense. Whenever you're going into a classroom and you're with people that are your major, you're not really meeting strangers. You might not know their names or something like that, but you know that they have an intrinsic similarity to you and they want to dedicate their lives to what you want to dedicate your life to. And that's way deeper than having a favorite color. So asking their name, it's not really that big of a deal if you think about it like that.
Amber, absolutely loved everything you said. And the funniest thing you probably said, though, was about your parents leaving after you were so ready to go to school, because I was the same way. I will never forget moving into Jester. My parents were there. We went to a restaurant and they were leaving, and I started sobbing. It wasn't even funny. But anyways, I just remember how ready I was to leave. And then I was like, no, don't go. But anyways, next question, which will be answered by both Marcos and Amber. Tell us a bit more about move-in and what it's like to live in a residence hall.
I can start this one off. So I'll start off with like how moving is, just like moving into the dorms and everything. I was the first in my family to go to college, and the reason I say that is because I wasn't familiar at all like how living in a dorm was going to be, or like college in general. I didn't have anyone to go to ask like, hey, what do I need for college? What do I need for my room? So it's very, so I was put in a situation where I really didn't have any knowledge on like moving at all. So a tip I would recommend to the first year students is reaching out to someone who has lived in a dorm. And it doesn't even have to be specifically UT. Of course, like if someone lived in UT dorm, that would probably be a little better because that's where you're going. But reaching out to someone, I didn't do this, but someone reached out to me as in like an org leader. She reached out to me because she saw I was stressed about like just the move-in process, and that just helped me so much. As in, I like, she gave me her contact number, and then she reached out and she like asked if I needed help, and I asked her what do I need for my dorm, what do I need, and everything. And she just helped me out a lot and just made me feel better about the move-in process. So in conclusion on that, like really do reach out to someone like who's maybe a year, 2, 3 years older and who went to college. I'd totally recommend that. And as in like how it was living in a residence hall, I thought it was super fun. Like I met some of my best friends there. They just lived in the door right across from me, and we would hang out like every single day. And that's just something I love because those are people you're gonna live with like for like probably a year. And it's the best. I would recommend y'all to like get out of your comfort zone and like knock on their door and just ask, just introduce yourselves. Maybe you won't be friends, but you'll never know if you never introduce yourself. And now I'm gonna pass it to Amber.
Thank you, Marcos. Yes. Okay. So my orientation was in person. So I lived at Jester, so I kind of had an idea of what a dorm was like, and I was like, I'm an only child, so living with a roommate was kind of weird. And I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this. But here's another thing about me. I'm like a serial procrastinator. So I didn't sign up for a dorm until like the last possible second. So I wasn't in like a roommate sync thing or anything like that. I was put in like 2 strangers in Durham. So I was like, okay, hopefully they're not, yeah. So I was just really hopeful going into it. It actually ended up being really cool. Communication is key with roommates. So if anything's ever bothering you, please tell them. No one can read your mind. So if anything's ever bothering you in any situation, just speak up. But But yes, so I lived in a dorm my freshman year. I lived in Durham, as I said before, and I really liked it. It's like really intimate, and I met a lot of really cool people. And I might not be best friends with them, but like just being able to know more people, like networking and having like colleagues, I guess that's kind of weird to say, but like just putting yourself out there is so helpful, and going to events and like talking to your RA, which is like your resident assistant who's going to be there like on your floor and is always available to help you. Leland's an RA, so if you guys want to know anything about that, you should ask him. He's really awesome. But yes, RAs are really helpful, and just being in contact with them, knowing that they're always there for you, that's also really helpful. So yes, living at dorms it's very, very fun, and I think you're gonna like it.
Oh, I totally agree. Living in Jester was kind of fun, but like I also lived in there during COVID hour, if y'all know what I'm saying. So my floor was practically empty. So, anyways, it was still pretty fun, but I definitely wish that there were more people there to kind of have fun with. But other than that, I totally recommend living in a dorm your freshman year as well. On to the next question though. This is gonna be for Leland and Kat. What are some tips to make and maintain friendships in college?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of different ways to kind of find friends. So I'll kind of just talk in a broader sense and then I'll go into a more specific one. So like I'm gonna be honest, I have literally met some of my like best friends at UT by just literally walking up to people and talking to them. I know that sounds like so obvious, but like I feel like people are so receptive, just like you literally coming and talk to them. Like I'll just be in front of the SAC and I'll just walk up to someone and be like, hey, I really like your shirt. And then we'll start having like conversation. And I'm like, hey, can I have your number or like your social media? And then we'll just like literally like become friends just because of that. And then, I'm like text them and you hang out later. And I've done that so many times at UT. I don't know if it's just a UT thing. I feel like it is, but I genuinely do feel that way. And some other great ways to find friends on top of just like, meeting random people all over campus and around campus is, to join orgs. That's where I've also found some of my closest friends through some of my orgs like Senate and Blazers and orientation advisors. I consider that an involvement. Yeah, this program has also given me some of my best friends, like all these amazing people. And so, yeah, just meeting random people, putting yourself out there, getting involved in student orgs or like rec sports, intramurals, so many different ways. And that's going to like help you find some of your closest friends on campus.
Yeah, I definitely can relate to Leland going up to people and saying hi. And I'll admit that I'm a really shy person. I was really scared, especially the first time like meeting a couple of the OAs in person. But I will say that, and I have this like memory, but the first time Marcos met me, he like specifically called me by my name. And I don't know, like that made me feel really validated. And I was like, oh wow, like you actually like remember me from like Zoom. And now like I can go by and it's like, oh hi Marcos, hi Kat, how you doing? And it's really nice, it's really comforting. I also will like attest to FIG, which is the first year interest groups, or TRIGs, the transfer interest groups. Those are so much fun. I had a really fun FIG. I came in undeclared and that imposter syndrome just hit that first semester, but my FIG really helped me, and we found out like what each of us wanted to do and pursue in college together. And a couple of us went into communication, a couple of us went to business, but we're all still really close right now. And there's one memory I have that our economics class got canceled right before Thanksgiving break. So we said, all right, we're gonna go kayaking today. So we went kayaking, and these were people that I knew for like 2 or 3 months, and we weren't even that close yet. And now they're some of my closest friends, and one of them is even my roommate. So definitely putting yourself out there, stepping out of your comfort zone is something I very much recommend for making and maintaining those friendships.
I totally agree with both of you guys, especially just walking up to random people. I feel like I've had so many elevator conversations after going to UT. It's not even funny. Like people just getting on the elevator, complimenting your shoes, or like, you get on the elevator, you make a joke with someone. Like I know sometimes this one guy on my floor, every single time we'd get on an elevator together, he'd make an apparent to be like, what's your favorite superhero? just to anyone who got on the elevator. So that's was always just a fun way to spark conversation. But anyways, that's actually gonna wrap up our Q&A panel for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. We really hope that y'all were able to grab something out of this panel. Again, if y'all have any questions, you guys can feel free to drop it in the chat. But other than that, thank you all for watching again, and hook 'em, y'all.
Thank y'all. Bye, everyone.